Opening weekend at Keeneland means lots of graded stakes races all weekend long. In fact, we have 5 of them to discuss on Saturday, and an all graded stakes pick 5. Daily Racing Form has you covered all throughout the Keeneland meet, October 6th through the 28th. PPs and DRF picks. Just head to shop.drf.com. Now, I'm going to take a look at races 6 through 10 on Saturday at Keeneland. And I'm going to be looking at the Daily Racing Form Formulator past performances. This is an all graded stakes pick 5. There's also a pick 6 that combines races from Santa Anita and Keeneland on Saturday if you want to go back and forth between the two tracks. In this 6th race, 5.5 furlong turf sprint, it's the grade 2 Woodford. I like the 5 in here, Arzak. Now, this horse has always had some ability. You can see he's really showed up with some big races here and there. He just hasn't always been really consistent, just race to race to race. He's gotten in some trouble here and there. Took him a little while to figure out that sprinting is really his best game. And I'm using the horse R Shot as a measuring stick. I think R Shot's the horse to beat. Arzak had legitimate trouble in that race at Saratoga on July the 26th. Then on August the 23rd, thought it was a really good effort. Arzak was almost 18-1 in winning. He's got some versatility, but in this particular race, he's going to be coming from off the pace, and I think that's where you want to be. So he's in the mix for me for sure. The 8, R Shot, I think this is the horse to beat. Just based on his form, he has 7 straight races where he's beaten less than 3/4 of a length. He's adapted to all sorts of different trips. This is a little bit of a step up in class, but really the main step up in class is the 2. Because this is a horse who's been facing legitimate group stakes company. And if he shows up and he transfers his form over, he might be really tough in here, making his 3rd start of the form cycle. 5, 8, 2. I'll also use the 11, Beer Can Man, who's just a really nice turf sprinter. He's honest. He's solid. This is the type of game he likes. He'll make his 3rd start of the form cycle. And he lost to a horse named Motorius, who's going to be one of the favorites in the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint. It's race number 6. Some of the possibilities there. In the 7th race, this one is the TCA, the Thoroughbred Club of America. I'm going to single in this race with the number 4, Static Fire. I just feel like she's on the upswing. She's fast, but she can sit off a little bit. She just went 6.5 on the turf. Now she gets back to the dirt going 6. So I think that'll have a little more fitness for her. I feel like I know most of these fillies. Wicked Halo is really honest and certainly capable. Didn't really fire last time out. Before that, she had a good string of races that she'd thrown together. But I'll go elsewhere. Last Leaf hasn't really been a winner all that much recently. Fire on Time is quick, but not exactly sure what else you're going to get there. And I think Static Fire might be the quickest. If Ujiri wants to go, Static Fire can sit. Ujiri kind of tailed off a little until that last race. So I don't really love the rest of this field, and I like the form Static Fire is in right now. Would build a late pick 5 or this stakes pick 5 around Static Fire. Then what do you want to do in the First Lady, where you have an Italian who could be really, really tough? She's always so tough to run down, but White Beam did run her down last time out. And look at what White Beam has done overall. She's really tough to knock. Those are your 2 to beat. The one that I think, if you're looking for some value in this race, if you're trying to find an outside-the-box horse, maybe it's EV Jets. She has enough speed to where she could fall into a good trip. She's actually defeated White Beam. She's defeated Jumbly, a couple horses in here who are contenders. As long as she doesn't get caught up in a pace battle with an Italian, can she be sitting behind and maybe fall into a nice trip? I'm going to throw her in a pick 4 and a pick 5 sequence. In race number 9, it's the grade 1 Breeders' Futurity. 2-year-olds going a mile and a 16th. I like the 6 in here quite a bit. Generous Tipper. Toss the debut. It's in the turf, on the turf. Career start number 2, August the 5th. Right on the lead. But there's a couple others that are forwardly placed, so he backs up. He ends up sitting third. If you look at his running line, he gets shuffled all the way back to 7th, in between horses, really bad racing luck. He starts to roll, but the horse who won that day, West Saratoga, had already opened up. But Generous Tipper really kept going and made it close. It was a very nice second. And then he came back out of that race on August the 28th. He drew down towards the inside. He was forwardly placed, and they just kind of pushed him through the rail not to get in traffic. His half-sibling is a 3-time winner. And it's not as if he has like a monster pedigree, but his dam was a 9-time winner at Emerald. And look, she won from 5.5 all the way up to a mile and an eighth. And it seems like the first couple siblings of his may have been a little unlucky. Shop American only raced 1 time. Never really got to see how good she was. Excuses Be Gone had a race, then was off for 5 months, then races, then's off for a couple months, and we never see again. And Egyptian Bride raced twice, once on the slop, once on the turf, and that was it. Look at the last 2, though. General Tipper, 1, and Mo Money, Mo Honey, 3 for 3, and has earned 95 Beyer speed figures in winning the last 2 races. I think this pedigree is a little bit better than those first couple runners who just didn't get a chance to really get to the track a whole lot. Generous Tipper should get a trip in here because he showed speed last time out. That was more of being in the race where he's probably the best and he was drawn down inside. He's going to be coming from off the pace in here. I like him. The 9's the horse to beat. That's locked. The 1 and 2 are a little intriguing. I mean, all 3 of the inside horses, I wouldn't really talk you off if you were on them. But for me, Generous Tipper, anything around 8-1, it's a win wager for me. I don't really have much creative to tell you in the 10th. I wish I did. I'm going to lean with Annapolis. I'll give him another shot back. He's been a little disappointing this year. He's been your beaten favorite all 3 times. But 2 of those races came against Casa Creed. He ran a bang-up race in defeat in the 4-star Dave. One of his best races based on speed figures. He's run well here before at Keeneland. And in that race at Kentucky, last time out, he had to check back in traffic. He was not far out of it. He was looking for room. He never really got any. Career best effort. Come right here at Keeneland. Sits a good trip from the outside. I like Annapolis. The 1, Master of the Seas, is the horse to beat. And the 5, Up to the Mark, missed a little bit of training time, but the 1 and 5 are the horses to beat. Hopefully we could get a little value there with Annapolis getting a nice trip to the outside. The 2 I would use as a wild card. I think this guy's going to be forwardly placed in here. I think they will get aggressive. And if you look at the company that he's been keeping recently, he's faced some of the absolute best horses at up to a mile or 7 furlongs and mile runners. I went 9, 1, 5, and 2 at Keeneland on Saturday. There's a look at races 6 through 10. It's an all-graded stakes pick 5. Remember, you can get these daily racing form past performances for free when you sign up and you play with DRF Bets. Use that promo code WINNING, and they will give you 10 free formulator cards right off the bat. And then every time you bet $50, you'll actually get credit for another card. All meet long, Keeneland. Everything you need to succeed. Good luck on Saturday.